Okay, man, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Now, come on, now crank this motherfucker up.
Break it down like this.
Hello, Internet. Gino, that Beguino Greco here again with another episode of Deep Listens. And today we are going to be talking about Super Lesbian Animal RPG. That's a real game, that's its real name. And joining me, as always, to discuss all things video games, Pete Busby.
Hey, excited to talk this one through, as always. But before we do, let me tell a story, all right, for my fun fact this week. The year is 1968. Ronald Reagan is not yet president, so the Soviet Union isn't yet afraid of us. But the space race is on, and the Soviets need to beat us to the moon. So what do? They send two tortoises.
Oh.
No, this is after Sputnik. So actually, the first called them living things, terrestrial organisms, to orbit the moon. There were some like mosses and dried fruits and fruit flies and whatnot. But the coolest thing were two tortoises that Russia put on the Spond Z spacecraft, and it orbited the moon. And they were the first living things to orbit the moon.
They
Two
come
tortoises.
back?
Yeah, they were totally fine. They lost some weight
No, what?
because they couldn't feed them up there. Yeah. Both
They
tortoises
couldn't
survived.
feed them?
I mean, I don't know. They probably maybe put out some lettuce or whatever. But I don't know, zero gravity? I don't know if tortoises can eat on their own in zero gravity.
Imagine being a tortoise and you're in zero gravity for the first time. What would you even think was happening?
I have no idea.
Interesting.
So, did they tie them down? Or are they just floating around and they're loose?
Gino, these are great follow-up questions, and I wish I had answers for you. But unfortunately, I don't.
Did they live very long after they came back? Do we know that?
I mean, they lived for 40 years. It says they were totally fine.
Huh. There were flies, worms, and seeds on it as well.
Yeah.
They wanted to demonstrate their ability to return living organisms from deep space and to study the effects of space travel. They returned in good health.
Mm-hmm.
How long did they live after that?
I mean, they lived for 45 years, so hopefully a long time.
Huh.
Interesting. I would love to know if other tortoises that came into contact with these two tortoises suddenly started exhibiting just real fucked up behaviors upon being told what space was like.
I mean, all those guys that went to the moon, would tell it as jokes, at parties and stuff. And then they would be like, I guess you had to have been there. Just to dunk on people.
A bunch of them were sleeping around, too. A bunch of horn dogs, those guys.
Space madness. That other voice you've heard is the Mistress of Games, M. Palladino. How you doing, M?
Hello. Happy to finally get this game, which started our short list back in, when did I post this? Back in January of 2023, I started the shortlist channel, and this was the first game on it. And finally knocking it off the list. And now I'll play only straight games from now on. Straight cisgender games for the remainder of the show. I got it out of my system. I think we're good to also pleased to report my download of Duke Nukem Forever just finished.
I appreciate your commitment to the straight cisgender community. You are an ally, and we appreciate it.
Yep. Sorry, you're just gonna have to play nothing but dog shit from here on out.
Just
people unable to express their feelings. Just a lot of gray, a lot of beige tones in the upcoming games.
Some browns. Yep.
All sorts of browns. How do you feel
Probably a
about
lot
Gray?
of yeah. You get
Mhm,
excited.
mhm.
Probably a lot of microtransactions too, if I
Oh,
recall
good.
my Counter-Strike Go properly.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, the
That
straightest
was
game,
also
Counter-Strike Go.
bef- before we started recording, I was talking about my brother's habits of playing games on my Steam account before we split into two different Steam accounts, and those were definitely in there. You know, all
Mhm.
those Counter Strikes, um, just Arma. Uh, what else is on here? Just weird shooters
Oh,
from
Arma?
Arma. Yeah,
Wow. That's a
yeah.
name
You
I haven't
remember
heard in a
that?
while. Your brother's a sicko.
Yeah.
Do we get a do we get a Devil May Cry somewhere in there? I recall them being pretty straight.
Devil May. I have Devil May Cry 5 on here, but not the ones before that.
Okay.
You have
Which is
preempted my obsession of the
honestly,
week, you jerk.
y- yeah, honestly the gayest of the Devil May Cries, I would say. Go ahead, tell us your obsession.
Sure, I'll do that before the plugs this time. I watched the Devil May Cry show.
How
On
was that?
Good.
Netflix?
Yeah, it's on
Is it
Netflix.
actually good?
Yeah, it's good. It's better than I expected it to be. It
It's
starts with Limp Bizkit's "Rollin'" as the intro
Say,
song.
say less. I've heard all I need to hear.
Here's the thing. If you are a Devil May Cry fan, apparently it's dog shit. But if you don't know anything about Devil May Cry, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, their references to Devil May Cry lore makes Devil May Cry super fans mad, but also the super fans of Devil May Cry don't need to be respected. Um,
That's true.
we're also mad about the remake of Devil May Cry because they only want to replay 1 and 2 and 3 over and over and over again.
I
So you don't
did.
need to listen to those people.
I think I did 3. I did Dante's Awakening. Was the only one I ever played.
Yeah. So if you want to hear Crazy Town's Butterfly, um, in in the year 2025,
Like,
uh,
you're my butterfly, sugar baby.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to hear that song
I
prominently
mean,
featured,
always.
it's got that. If you want to hear Green Day's "American Idiot" used very appropriately, it's got that. It's just a fun show. It's well done, and I will say the ending of this, I guess it's just the first season. The ending of the first season definitely made me look forward to a second season if there is one. They go a level of social commentary that I did not expect Devil May Cry to do.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, good for Devil May Cry.
Yeah. Yeah. It ends in a very, very fun but also critical note, let's say. So check out that show if you got Netflix. And if you like video games, it's a show about video games. If you want to see more of those, you got to watch them. Sorry. That's how it works.
Can I, before we jump into the plugs and then the
Yes.
show in a very weird order,
Mhm.
could I do an obsession as well?
Heck
Sure.
yeah.
I saw the movie Sinners in theaters the other day.
I hear good
Looking forward to
things.
seeing that.
That movie bangs. Uh, that movie,
Literally, I hear.
I a little bit, yeah. Um, if you like vampires in the 1930s, if you like music, uh, it's pretty good. If you like river dancing at some points,
River dancing.
yes, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna spoil anything beyond that. Um, it is probably going to win a bunch of awards. So you should see it in theaters, particularly because there's a weird contract thing that the director has where he gets the rights after a certain amount of time.
Hi, Kugler.
And
Let's go.
yeah, yep, studios are mad about that. Um,
Good.
so they want it to fail, and it should be a rousing success because it's an excellent movie. So go see that.
Do your part. Go see a good movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so our plugs. You can get in touch with the show. Deeplistens.libsyn.com. We have our comment sections and deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. That is our email address. You can support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens. At the $1 tier, it gets you access to our Discord. At the $3 tier, it gets you access to our OG Songcast. And we are uncomfortably close to having to play Duke Nukem Forever, you can make the funniest back-to-back of games happen. You can do that. We only need one more new OG Soncast tier, or 2 new patrons, or 2 people to upgrade from regular patrons to OG Soncast patrons to hit our 50 patron goal, which would make us play Duke Nukem Forever. It would also make the Off the Deep End folks play Lunar Dragon Song, which I hear is not good. And what more fitting way to celebrate our 10-year anniversary?
Oh God, don't say that.
Horrifying.
Our 10-year anniversary episode will be the next episode. So if you want to send an email, if you want to get anything in there, if you could review the show, tell someone. We will be celebrating our 10-year anniversary next main podcast. And it could be Duke Nukem Forever. Power is with you, listener. You. For only $3 a month, it could be you who does this.
Speaking of the OG Soncast, we're continuing our new policy of only bangers. And our next episode will be Fully Cooley, for those interested.
Oh,
The original, not the
good choice.
Dog Water remake.
Okay. I might join. I watched that show front to back one night because I was up too late and Adult Swim had it on. And
Very easy to just plow through it because it's only 6 episodes, I think.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours total or
Yeah.
something.
it's like a movie length. And yeah, that show was a formative experience.
Mhm.
Stumbling upon that show at like midnight and feeling like I had gone through a fever dream for 2 hours.
That's the way to watch it.
I think so.
Intended experience.
Almost certainly. I think the less sleep you have, the better that show is, because you don't ask questions like, why is anything happening? All right. Well, those are the plugs. Now it is time to oh wait, the Discord report. I forgot. We should
The
check on the
Discord
Discord.
report.
How's it doing?
Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. This week on the Discord is still there.
Nice. Good start.
Yeah. I think we covered, honestly, most of what we would have discussed. We had a bunch of new additions to the short list because it was getting a little thin in there. So look out for a bunch of very different games, some of which I just added without consulting anyone on because I'm interested in seeing those as a surprise. Other such things in the Discord. Let's look at the food channel really quick.
Always check
Nothing.
there for safety.
Oh God. I was like, there's nothing really egregious in here. And then I scrolled up to a pizza absolutely covered in whole olives. Just almost the
God.
complete surface area.
And no
and
sauce that I can see. It seems to
Yeah.
just be bread and cheese and whole olives.
yes.
Gino,
So I'm
as
not gonna question that.
as resident Italian, I mean that's not how you do things, right?
And as a
No.
fellow Italian, no.
No, not at all. Whole olives? Like, you should, if you want whole olives like that, you should just be eating a can of olives.
Yeah, cut them in half.
Why go through the the
Middleman.
rigmarole of making it on a pizza? Also, the Not Safe for Work channel is still going. This was our April Fool's thing. I made a Not Safe for Work channel, and everyone understood the assignment and was posting OSHA violations. And we're still doing that. There's some genuinely horrifying things in there. Things that make you wish that you had a hard hat on.
Yes.
Anything else going on in the Discord?
There's a bunch of video game discussion in the video game channel. People are talking about Oblivion.
Always.
Perhaps you've heard of it.
Yes. Oblivion, they remade it, and it's the same thing, just better graphics.
Test
Also-
IV Oblivion, I believe it's
Yeah.
called. colloquially.
Tessive.
Talking hoops in our F1 channel, which is obviously what that's for.
True. There's a lot of playoff discussion. There was some live discussion of the NFL draft, which happened. That was kind of fun. We might have a podcast coming with our NFL coverage team, our elite NFL coverage team on the draft. So that will probably happen. Yeah. So that's what's going on in the Discord. All right, now without further ado, Super Lesbian Animal RPG. You picked this. What is it?
Did. Super Lesbian Animal RPG. Let me get my notes up here. I don't actually have notes. I was just gonna Google it. Super
Quick.
Lesbian Animal RPG.
Quick peek behind the curtain for our listeners.
Super Lesbian Animal RPG is a role-playing game made by Ponet. That is the publisher. I don't know if they've made anything else. It was made in RPG Maker VX Ace. If you know what that is, it's on sale right now. It's 90% off. You should pick it up if you want to make games. It is a game about Melody and Allison, who is her girlfriend. Melody is a fox. Allison is a bunny. They have joined their friend Claire, who is a cow. They have made a adventurers guild in this world to go out and get treasure, I guess. They don't really actually have a lot of opportunity to do that because almost immediately it goes horribly wrong after Claire tries to give Melody and Allison magic, and that attracts the eye of some bad people. And it's a lot of RPG stuff after that.
Yeah.
That
So this
sound
is-
accurate?
It does.
It's a furry universe.
Yes.
Everyone's animals.
Or Harry's, depending on who you
Wait.
talk to.
Okay, let me interject for a moment.
Yes.
I'm not knee deep in the fairy community.
Well,
But-
we could change that.
But I think my partner might have some things to say about it if we did.
Mhm.
But okay, let's say I lived in this world, right? These are just animals. So would they still be
Well-
considered fairies? Or like would fairies in this world be these animal characters dressing up as people for sex play?
Well, you don't have to have the sex in there.
Okay. I'm already learning things.
Like there are whole furry conventions where you go and be in a fursuit and you don't have to
Okay.
be doing anything. But there are also like normal animals in this world, so they're like
That's
referred to as like beasts, I think,
folk.
in the actual game, and they are distinct from like Melody as a cat in her house, which seems like it would be a weird situation.
Yeah, they
That's a
don't.
real
They don't deal with
real
that.
goofy Pluto situation.
No, yeah,
They just say, yeah, there are critters, and critters
Yeah.
are just that's a rabbit, and then there's Allison, who's a bunny girl, and you really just don't bother justifying
it.
why there are Melody has a pet cat, and also there are cats who sell you
yeah, magic,
like magic books.
Yeah, don't think about it too hard. It makes perfect sense if you
The game doesn't, so why should we? But yeah, like this universe, they're all anthropomorphic animals of some kind, mystical or otherwise, or regular animals. But it's all anthropomorphic animals. Almost
There is
everyone in the
also a
games.
plant.
There's also a plant. There's also an anthropomorphic plant. There's an anthropomorphic dragon.
Zombies.
Zombies. The zombies
People.
are kind of people, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, they seem like they're human people who got
Might
turned
be
into
elves.
zombies. Yeah,
It's very unclear what's going on in this universe in terms of what sorts of creatures are allowed or not. But that's fine. We don't need to worry
Mhm.
about it. Again, the game doesn't, so why should we? Um,
We shouldn't.
but as an RPG, this is an
Mhm.
RPG Maker game.
Yes.
Um, you've got attack, you've got magic, and you've got a spell book. So like every character has skills that they learn as they level up, and then there's a spell book that gives them access to up to 4 spells from that equipping. You give them different weapons that increase your stats. Um, and then you've got kind of an accessory slot that can sometimes change up how the game plays a little bit. There's an accessory that's like all your spells cost 25% less, or there's one eventually I got that's like you can replace your weapon slot with a second, your spell book slot with a second
Yeah,
weapon. You deal more damage.
that one's a good one.
Is a good one. But there's like a light elemental magic system. Claire is a wizard. So Claire can do fire and ice magic by default, but you can pick up spell books for like water and earth magic. Um, and you have a fourth character named Jody, who's a tiger, who's a tank.
Mhm.
The game that I felt this game most felt like when I was playing it was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. The
Sure.
Final Fantasy game that was supposed to teach you how to play video games or play RPGs.
I'll take your word for it.
That game, like, it had an elemental system. It had some very basic attack and block, and you had a party that kind of got changed on you all the time. But you were mostly just kind of running through these fairly easy encounters over and over and over again, and you could save anywhere. And this game is awash with save points. You are almost never in jeopardy of losing any progress if you ever lose, which I don't know why you would lose either. It's really hard to die in this game, considering
I lost maybe once, I think.
I think I had one. I think 3 times I had a character faint at all
Mm.
in the entire
I
game.
mean, every so often someone would faint, but it's really easy to get them back up again. I had only one time where I actually had like a game over screen, and that's because uh, it was like way late in the game, and it was a boss that summons like additional things, and I did not handle them quickly enough. And so they were all casting like AoE spells, and I could not heal through it, basically.
But healing through it
But
is
yes,
very easy. The game gives
yes.
you a ton of items too. So like you have, I think I ended the game with almost 40 ethers, which will heal your
Hmm.
MP. I had over 10 elixirs that fully heal you. I never used one. I think I used potions like twice in the entire game, if that, because Melody is a paladin and she's very good at healing. Um,
Hmm.
like the only gameplay decision you really get to make in the early game is picking what kind of paladin you want Melody to be. What kind did you pick, Em?
I picked the Resolute Paladin, which is she believes in herself, and so that's what gives her power. It's described as a Ouroboros of belief. Uh, yeah, that
Okay,
seemed like the one that would be most likely to survive in
fair.
dire straits.
Which paladin did you pick?
I also picked the Resolute Paladin,
Uh,
for I stand on my own feet and need help from no
mhm.
one.
I picked the nature paladin because I like
Ah,
trees.
interesting.
Hmm.
I thought
So,
it would be funnier if Melody was like, "I guess I like trees. This is my identity now."
did you have a special move that was particular to that type of paladin?
So I had an herbal cure. Did you have
Mm,
that?
no.
I could cure poison.
Could
Hmm.
cure herbs.
Oh.
I could cure poison. I also had a gust. I could do a blast of
Hmm.
wind. Do you have that?
Yeah, we had the gust. We also had our resolute seal, which basically put a poison effect on enemies. Um,
Okay. I
yeah.
had a nature's healing that has to regen
Mm.
on one ally.
Okay.
Oh.
That's pretty
Okay.
good.
Yeah, that seems a little bit better than what we had actually. Um, Ours was only really useful after you get it. You do like a little side quest with the paladins of the guild,
Mhm.
And you get like an upgraded version of your ability, which basically did like a bunch of damage and then put the damage over time effect on them.
Ah,
So that was when it was like, oh, now it's actually useful.
I did a little quest with the ant lady instead.
Oh.
And the quest with the plant lady gave me a healing spell that healed the whole party equal to Melody's HP. But the way that it's
Ah.
calculated is it heals Melody first and then heals everyone else. So
Ooh,
I had Melody at like
Huh.
900. It healed her 900, which then made her max health, and then healed everyone else by her max health.
That's pretty good.
that is
Yeah,
pretty
it's
I
good.
basically
can
a full
see
party
how
heal.
you never had a trouble healing.
Yeah, maybe we all
Uh,
should have been nature paladins.
yeah. What was the third one that we didn't pick?
There's the love
Love.
paladin.
Ah, yes. I would be interested to see what that was.
I will
Yeah.
say
What
too,
that gives you.
this is probably a personal bias of mine. Really has nothing to do with the game necessarily. But I have to say, like, Paladin's one of the most boring classes to me.
Sure is.
Like, of all the things you could pick, why pick like a lawful good nerd?
Hmm.
But we kind of do find out that it's because Melody's just kind of in this because her girlfriend is.
Yeah.
So she just
Well,
kind of fills the gap in the party that they have. They don't have a healer. So she's just like, I guess I'll be the healer.
yeah. Allison is very gung ho about hitting things with swords. And at first, Melody is like just tagging along, kind of. And we have a lot of like back and forth about like, are you just doing this because I want you to? Do you actually want to do any of this? Um, the inter-party drama aspect. Um, yeah. So, and by the end of it, she decides that she's having fun, so
Mhm.
she likes it. But
So the spellbook system, I feel, is the only part of this game's RPG mechanics that are a little distinct from just a very
well,
basic RPG.
say your thing, and then I'll counter with one more thing.
Okay. I was going to ask, how
Mhm.
many spellbooks did y'all really mess around with? And which ones did
I,
you go with?
I tried a little bit of everything, I think.
I did a few.
Um,
I think there was a
mhm,
chronomancy one, if I
mhm.
recall, and I'm not mixing my games up again. I think I used that for a
No,
while.
you're right. hmm
Chronomancy's good.
Um, yeah, there's like, let's see if I can remember most of them. There's a magical girl one that's good for melody because it's got
That
like healing. Um,
is the
there's
one I
like
had on Melody the entire game.
Yeah, there's a bard one, which is what I upgraded to, which still gives a healing like AoE, um, but it also has debuffs for the enemies. Uh, there's like uh, tinker, something about
Yeah,
tinkering.
there's a
Um,
Tinkercraft thing where you can throw
yeah,
scrap metal at your enemies.
yeah, you like make a cannon or you can make armor for your allies. Um, I use that on Claire because sometimes she would run out of MP. Uh, I used the water one. I used the chronomancy one. I used the beast one.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I used the beast one too. I forgot about that guy.
yeah. Uh, there's a
Use the
bunch of them.
Swordcraft one. So,
Yep,
like,
Swordcraft's good.
if you put Magical Girl on Melody,
hmm
it gives her an AoE heal, and
Yep.
uh, there's a star power mechanic, which I think M was what you were going to probably
Yes.
point out as another mechanic. Um, each character gets a star point for doing things that their class likes, kind
hmm
of. So Melody gets star points for healing. Allison gets star points for attacking because she's a damage dealer. Claire gets star points for attacking or casting spells because she's a mage. And Jody is a tank, so Jody gets star points when she takes damage and tanks damage for your party. And most of them have other abilities that will just give you star points all the time,
Yeah.
um, like smooching.
And you
And what is
can give a little
smooching?
Yeah,
kiss.
you can
You
smooch.
yeah, you give one of the other characters a little kiss, and then you become infatuated, which gives you 15% bonus to your abilities, and you get a little star power. So,
Yep. The
yep.
game also tracks your smooches.
hmm
You
It
can check your
It
does.
sure
smooch
does.
stats.
I'm actually surprised how little smooches I did throughout the game.
How many smooches did you end up with, Em?
Like 13 or something.
Really?
Yeah.
I did a lot more smooching.
How many
Huh.
smooches did you end up with, Pete?
Like 30 something.
Oh wow.
I ended up with over 90 smooches.
That's
Holy
so many smooches.
shit.
Why are you smooching so much, Gino? My God,
So
you
you
pervert.
see, I was smooching so much because I had Melody as a magical girl. That was her spell book.
Mhm.
There's also an accessory that makes it so that star power carries over between battles. So
Right.
I had her constantly smooching to get her star power full because she had an ability that with Magical Girl, there's one that's a full party HP heal, and then with 4 star powers, you can have up to 5. At the
Mhm.
cost of 4 star power, you can give everyone 60 MP back, the whole
Yes.
party. So I basically was just having her constantly healing or smooching to get her star power up, and then she healed everyone's MP. So I almost never had less than 100% HP and MP the entire game.
I mean, yeah, I was using that little trinket on Melody also, but I didn't really have any trouble keeping her like uh healing instead of smooching, I guess.
I just whenever I didn't have the option to heal, like healing would not be advantageous, I just
Mhm.
smooched because Melody
Ah,
doesn't do good damage, generally speaking,
See,
or like
I
compared to Claire or Allison.
smooched when I
that's
felt
a good
this was a
issue, I think.
moment for smooching. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
I think they would enjoy a smooch right now. Smooch.
We just defeated one enemy. I think they need to do a little smooch as
Yeah, celebrate a little
congratulations.
bit.
Yeah.
No,
I
I
I guess
was
I didn't.
purely about efficacious smooching. Uh, Melody, your damage is less than 15% more damage from Allison, and therefore you must smooch her.
I'm just
Hmm.
picturing Gino on dates, and he's just like, yes, but how does this smooch benefit
Is
me?
this is this an advantageous time to smooch or not? Um, yeah, I don't
I
know.
kept my party safe. They never died, or very rarely died. I never used MP restoring items because I didn't need to, because Melody was smooching and healing.
I guess it
Isn't
worked
that what
for
we
you.
all want at the end of the day?
Smooching and healing. Yep.
Hmm. I probably should have stuck with the um, Magical Girl book on Melody because uh, Bard is pretty much the same thing, but it didn't have that 60 MP thing. Um, but didn't
It's fine.
even
Game's
think
easy enough;
about
it
it.
doesn't matter.
Yes.
Like you can do whatever. And I actually did get to a level later in the game where you can talk to someone, and they were like, "Hey, just so you know, you could try different spell books. Like maybe don't
Hmm.
use Magical Girl on Melody all the time." I was like,
Oh
"Well,
yeah.
game, if you wanted me to use something else, you should have made it something better than the very first spell book you gave me.
Hmm.
Not my fault. The first one was the best one. I did try Bard. Just debuffs didn't matter that much. Nothing does enough damage to one shot you, almost the entire game. So when Melody can fully heal everyone every turn, what does it matter if they took damage? She'll just heal them.
True.
So that was why I felt like this game was so simple. Like you really never needed to use a spell book other than the first 4 they gave you, and you don't even need to use those really.
Hmm.
The skills for most of your party members are enough. Did
Hmm.
y'all find the status effect systems to be interesting? Freezing,
Status,
burning,
status is
corruption.
like.
Yeah, they
Go
were
ahead.
fine. Yeah, I was just gonna say
Yeah.
they were fine. There's nothing like novel about them. Like if you've played an RPG, you know what to expect.
Hmm. Yeah. Corruption is basically like your confusion. Um, you got burning. You got freeze. Uh,
Chains.
chains sometimes. Yeah, they're okay. I mean,
There's
there were
like
some ones that I didn't even know what they did. Like, there was a boss that did like a fire buffet or something,
yeah.
or I was like, what does this even do? And then would do a water attack and then it would fall off. I was like, what? There's no way to check actually what like your status effects are doing. Like there's no way to click into it and see the actual effects going on. So I just never knew what that one was. And it
Yeah,
didn't
and
come up outside of that fight, so it didn't matter.
there's like 2 or 3 different damage over time effects.
Hmm.
There's 3 or 4 different stuns.
Hmm.
Functionally, your character can't act sort of effects. And then there's a few effects that I you make someone damp. I don't know what that
Yeah.
does.
Electricity does more damage. I think they're more likely to freeze also.
Okay,
Um,
sure.
yeah.
It didn't come up that
Yeah.
often.
There is like a little bit of interplay between the different status effects. So if you're like you've inflicted a burn, and then you use a ice attack, then the burn will fall off. So there is kind of a little bit of thinking about it there, but not in any way that I actually planned for.
Yeah. I would
You
say
don't really have to use it.
the only times I really felt in jeopardy the entire game were times when I had multiple party members disabled one way or another. If I had
Hmm.
access to the full party, I was fine for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, what did you think of this game having just 4 really straightforward character classes? Like, did you feel like you were really customizing your party very much, or kind of you knew how to play everyone and just kept them in their rails?
Yeah, I
Mm,
mean, the only one you get any decision around, really, if we're setting aside spell books, is like your paladin class.
right.
And it doesn't really change much. I mean, I always appreciate customization just because
Hmm.
one of the reasons I love Fire Emblem is 'cause I just get to like build weird parties of different classes.
Hmm.
So I guess I would have liked it, but I don't know. I don't care, I guess.
Yeah.
Did
I mean, getting locked into a like one particular style of gaining star power is kind of strict, it seems, compared to like some other games where like you got a class system and you change what you do, and then you gain star power from different things. Um, might have liked to see a little bit more nuance there, but it wasn't anything that I was like, this game bad because it didn't let me make these characters into. It didn't let me make Melody into a berserker. Like,
nah,
Yeah, they are.
and
yeah,
you can make her a damage dealer. Like there are ways to
yes,
do that.
yeah, which I
It's
And
kind
they
of did
are
by the end of it.
they're like fairly invested in the way they like character classes align with the
Mm,
personalities and stories. Which I
hmm.
mean, there's a way you could still have some customization within that, but
Right.
there's no way they could give you enough that you break that fundamental storytelling conceit.
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't think that it needed customization. I think it's just that because the combat itself was so straightforward, and you, I felt like I pretty much was doing the same thing for maybe 80% of the game, basically till the late game when they start giving you some of the better pieces of equipment and more out there spell books and accessories. I felt like all of my characters were pretty much solved
Hmm.
early on in the game. And so the gameplay just didn't hold that much for me, you know? The
Hmm.
combat, I wasn't in jeopardy of dying. The enemies didn't do anything especially novel. I just felt like I was going through the motions.
I I feel like on one hand, yes, it kind of does fall into that. I think because of the class you picked, you kind of got the like very easy to fully heal and keep healing.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. I'm interested to see like what that third class would have been like if that was more like focused on, I don't know, dealing damage or something.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Magical Girl was what
but
did it. I
oh
didn't
yeah,
use that full heal. That full heal is super late game also. Like you need
right.
to do a bunch of side quests before you can even do that
Hmm.
paladin upgrade stuff.
Yeah,
So it's very easy to just not get that stuff. I think
true.
if you just lean into Melody as a healer, instead of Melody as a damage dealer, um, you can end up with that playthrough. But again, there's nothing wrong with it. I think this game's just a very straightforward. It was made in RPG Maker, right? It was a very
Yeah.
straightforward RPG. I don't think it's trying to set the world on fire with its gameplay. I think it's trying to tell a story. And if it's going to be kind of an introductory RPG that's teaching you how to play these sorts of games, I think that's totally fine. You know, having a
Oh,
save on almost every screen is kind of the giveaway, right?
yeah. Yeah, it's very forgiving in that regard. Not that I was ever like in danger of dying very often. Um, yeah, I don't know. Um, Sometimes a game can be just a straightforward entry level RPG. Uh, that's
Yeah,
fine.
not everything has to be Dark Souls. I would prefer if nothing were.
Very fair. Very fair. But if you were coming to this for the RPG part and not the super lesbian animal part,
Mhm.
just be aware it'll be a very straightforward RPG. Yeah.
Yes.
Which I think means we can get to the super lesbian animal part of the game.
Yippee.
Em, why don't you take it away? What did you think of, I guess, the introductory setup, the first kerfluffle that we get into with the gang?
What's the first bit?
The basement, I would say.
Oh yes. So the first thing, they've made their adventuring guild, and Claire, who is the leader of the guild, decides that she's gonna make a dungeon, and she does this by transforming Allison's basement into a like dungeon made out of cardboard boxes, and sending all of Allison's stuff to a pocket dimension. And you fight through that. Allison is like, "Can you please change my house back?" And Claire is like, "I don't know how to do that." Um, it's cute. It's like, pick up a key in this room and bring it back to this door over here, and then fight a boss. Uh, and then you actually find a way out of the dungeon at some point. Like you can get behind it.
Mhm.
Claire's like, I did not put this here. Uh, but then you does it go right into the glitch
So the
dungeon
glitch
from
stuff
there?
happens. I will say, I think the first dungeon is the most complicated dungeon in the game, maybe?
Really?
You
You
think?
think
Uh,
so?
at least when it comes to secret stuff. Like, there are secret
Mm.
walls in there. Did you find the
Mm,
mermaid room?
Oh
mermaid
yeah.
room.
I found the mermaid room on my second time through it. You come back here in order to do something else. And it's like a grotto that has a electric uh like a generator in the middle of it, and then you walk up to the generator, and Claire is like, "Yeah, how do you think I was powering all this?" And then a mermaid pops out and fights you. And it's like it's fine. It's a little boss fight. She's got her tail out, and you can hit the tail separate from her. Um, but at that point, I was like way beyond the level when you should be fighting this boss, so it didn't really even occur to me that it was supposed to be like encountered at level like 3.
Yeah, I would say the game, they don't really do secret rooms other than this.
Mm,
Like, the rest of the dungeons
Mhm.
are pretty straightforward. What you see is what you get, like clicking on random walls or noticing things. It's normal, just like dead end equals treasure chest design everywhere else. I think
yeah.
this is one of the places that kind of, it made me think there would be more exploring. No.
Mm,
Um, and there were other ones that had more mechanical depth navigating the dungeons. Like, you have a sliding ice puzzle. You
Mhm.
have sliding blocks kind of puzzles, you know? But this is
You
the
got
one where you've
sand
got,
that you raise and lower to
everyone loves
Yeah, we
sand that
should
you
have.
raise and lower.
yeah, it's the water temple except sand.
Every RPG loves an ice level where you have to slide into things that are
Hmm.
holding you in place so that you can slide the right directions.
Yeah, my favorite part of the Pokemon games.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Everyone loves it. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to say I thought that first dungeon was probably one of the more clever in the game. in terms of how it's set up. And also you're fighting dust bunnies and like the walls are covered in cardboard. And then yeah, you fall into a glitched world, Pete. What did you think of that twist?
One thing, all right, I'll say a thing about this, but before, let me say another thing that I think is going to be pretty controversial. But I'm going to say it because I'm brave.
Have
I
my
did.
knife out. I'm ready.
I did enjoy this game. One thing I will say about it is I got some Undertale vibes throughout, and I
Mhm.
don't mean that as a compliment.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I mean, Undertale did do a lot for RPG games,
It did.
so I don't think you would be able to make this game without Undertale having set some groundwork.
Would you say that
Uh,
this game is also twee, Pete?
I would say that.
I would
Most
agree with that.
notably with some of the enemy designs. Some of them did get me to chuckle, and other ones I was like, you're doing a lot. Do a little
Which
less.
ones are you for, and which ones are you against?
Oh God, I should have came up with actual examples before I made this
Oh,
opinion.
I am
well,
for most of an
di-
egg.
most of an egg.
Most of
Yes.
the was a good one. I liked the nurse slime that came out with a bazooka at the end. I was like, this is a
Mhm.
nice twist for nurse slime.
Yep.
There's helpful
Uh,
slime, unhelpful slime, and then I forget what that one is. It's like tactical
Something else.
slime or something.
Yeah. I think there was
Hurtful
like a
slimers.
hippie giant of some sort where you only saw their feet. I liked that
Oh
one.
yeah. Uh-huh.
There was a
Uh,
wizard that was just a beard with arms, legs, and a hat. I like that guy.
yeah. The little wizard. Just little guy. The mimics, they're like pink and like starry-eyed anime looking mimics instead of monsters. Those are funny.
I like them because every
Uh,
time you encounter them, they're like, it seems like you're going through something right now. I'm just going to give you the item. Bye.
That was a pretty good bit.
hmm,
Speaking of the glitch worlds, though, so I did think it was interesting. There's a much more exciting glitch world later on.
Hmm?
I'll mention it now so I don't forget. Whereas you go from room to room, they actually change the art style.
Yes.
So
oh yeah.
it suddenly turns into like an old school Zelda game, or like your characters get chibi or they get real big. And I was like, that's cool. Like that took a level of effort that like this designer didn't need to put in, but it probably took a lot of work for like a room to room bit. And I was like, I like that. That's funny. Thank you for that. The regular glitch world I did like because it was so different from the rest of the art style. Like there were just weird numbers floating all over the place. The only complaint I had was it made hallways, like room transitions, hard to see sometimes. But that could very
Yeah.
easily be a skill issue on my part.
Yeah,
It's a
definitely
little
occupied
tough
a lot of
to.
the space.
hmm Yeah, as far as when we went into the glitch world, I was like, oh, this is one of those games now. We're doing one of these. Uh,
What did you think one of those meant in this context?
like,
You're like, this is Doki Doki Literature Club all over again.
yeah, a little bit. Kind of like, kind of getting a little meta with it, you know?
Mhm.
I turned the, what was it, cognitive dissonance
The
slider way up.
ludonarrative,
Yeah, ludonarrative
ludonarrative
dissonance
dissonance.
slider. I turned way up. What was the other slider? Hold on.
Politics, did you set politics to 100%?
Yes, I did.
Another complaint I have about this game, I set the politics slider to 100 and nobody mentioned the historical dialectic even once.
hmm hmm
And did you set the game to be art or yes or no?
I said
I
yes,
I
obviously.
held my judgment until the end. And then I was like, okay,
I think
Uh-huh.
it's really
you get a
presumptuous
yes.
that the game defaults to yes.
Well, that's just the designers. They're anyway.
Default settings say a lot. That's all
Carry
I'm
on.
saying. Your
Yeah,
default
all
settings
right.
matter. Politics didn't
Put
start at 100%. It started at
it's
like 70.
70, yeah. Those were funny. I don't know if they actually changed anything. Like
Not that I noticed.
I
I
didn't
think they
try
do.
adjusting them down. I want to play it again at 0 and see what happens.
When it's at
They
zero,
don't.
it just suddenly becomes a different game entirely.
Yeah, they do
It
not
turns into Duke
mention.
Nukem Forever. It's just like, yeah,
They do not mention being lesbians at all. All of the trans aspects are scrubbed. Yeah.
Yep, they just become humans filing their
Whoa.
taxes if it's
Damn, that's crazy.
politics at zero. Yeah,
And
and they're
that's
all
how
just
you
good
get.
friends.
That's how you get Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. Is you turn it way down to.
It would be
Uh,
it would be very funny if you set politics to zero. If Melody's like my roommate Allison,
mhm. Instead of kiss, it's like firm handshake.
Firm.
firm handshake. Oh yeah, Melody and her live-in roommate Allison.
Allison does have her own house.
Does. Oh, that's true. They just crash over each other's places.
I will
Occasionally.
ask too, and this is very much not a complaint. I want to preface that as a straight man. I know most video games are for me. I don't think there was a single hetero relationship that I can
was
recall
not.
in the game. Nice.
There were
Okay.
there were very few men also.
And that's what I was gonna say.
Uh,
This is a world where I think like 3 men exist at all.
yeah.
Yeah, there was
One of-
old wizard cat.
Old wizard cat who is like a super villain. Who else?
Just 2
The
zombies.
the zombies.
Couple
Also,
zombies.
TV head read very male
Mhm.
to me, but that could be me projecting.
Yeah, Javis,
Javis,
the
yeah.
Yes.
villain, maybe could be a guy. Unclear. He's got a VHS tape for a head.
Yes, he is given he/him pronouns.
Okay.
So
That's true.
he
That's
has also he has his 4 sons.
His 4
His
beautiful
good
sons.
his good boys.
4 beautiful sons.
Uh,
And then there's a fox man.
Is
That
there?
can sell you like he's a shopkeeper.
Oh,
That's
right.
Okay.
Oh, and there's also
Yeah.
well, I guess we don't know the gender. There's a deer person that is also
Yeah.
a vendor.
There's like a newscaster over there. There's like male
what about-
NPCs who do not move from their spot.
Is Dream Knight? Was Dream
Yeah.
Knight a dude?
Sure,
I think so.
probably it's a rabbit.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Might
fact that
be a
we're
dude.
we're going like this far down the list to random
Yeah.
NPC shopkeepers tells you something
Uh-huh.
about the game.
Yeah.
This is a game that is very. There are more trans lesbians in your party than there are men you interact with for a good portion of the game.
Hell
That's-
yeah.
Trans lesbian, yeah, it's
That's what you came here for. So.
yeah, it's
I
in
mean,
the
it was
name of
all
the
in the
game.
title. Yeah, we were told exactly what we were getting.
They did not skimp on the super, the lesbian, or the animals.
Skimped on the RPG a little bit, but
The
what,
RPG
what can you
The
do?
least important ingredient of the 3.
Mm.
So
Yep.
we beat Jarvis, Javis.
Javis.
Not Jarvis. Not Jarvis. He says specifically, don't say it like that.
And yet I did the entire game.
Oh. Well,
Dang.
he's a little.
He's evil.
fuckboy,
To hell with
so-
him. I'll say his name however I want.
And just mispronouncing this villain's name. Not even giving him basic respect just because he's got a VHS for a face.
Yep.
Yeah, so his whole thing is he's setting up some sort of glitch machines to glitchify this island archipelago.
Yeah, it's
called
like
the
a
Sapphire
floating
Islands.
island.
It's an island,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're only on one, really, for almost the entire game. He set up these 3 glitch machines, and they're going to create some sort of glitch matrix that will allow him to summon his boss, who appears to be some sort of angry, vengeful god.
Yep.
And you foil him once, then you get your full party. Then you get Claire. I think you get like most of your party. Then you get sent to an island in the sky. Oh no, you go on a hiking trail and you meet Paula. What do we think of Paula,
Yeah.
the polar bear?
Paula,
She sucks.
yeah, she's kind of Allison's antagonist. She worked in the same like lumber job. I don't know what they were doing, just cutting down trees. But then Allison goes off and gets magic, and Paula does not like that, so she sides with the villain and becomes like a mini boss, basically.
Yeah, even at the
A
very end,
lackey. Yeah.
even at the very end when Paula gives her like big speech, I still struggle to
Mhm.
understand what she was so angry about.
Well, I mean, we could. I think this game. There's stuff to talk about with the relationships. I don't know that the linear story matters that much,
Mm,
as much as the relationships. M, do you agree with that? More the vibes.
sure. Yeah.
Um, I,
Uh,
are we cool with jumping to Paula's justification for her actions, siding with
sure.
the villains? Um,
We're gonna spoil the whole thing. Blah blah
yeah,
blah.
her argument is she is physically strong but does not know how to do magic, and
Yes.
she should dominate everyone because
Right.
she's physically strong. But because the protagonists have magic, um, and because they live in a society where magic exists, being physically strong does not make her the alpha that she should be. Um,
Okay.
and so she is relegated to manual labor, and she
Gotcha.
has no path to advancement because all the good jobs require magic.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
because she
now that
can't
you
do magic,
say and now that you say, Gino, that the physically strong should dominate society, it makes a lot more sense to me. Like that's reasonable.
Yeah.
yeah, her whole thing is
Okay.
that she should be dominating everyone because everyone else is inferior to her. And
Mhm.
as an Uber uh, bear, uh,
As an Uber bear.
an Uber Ursa, she should be able to dominate everyone else, and everyone should be subservient to her, as
Okay.
is the natural way.
But
Yeah, she's
also she doesn't like Allison because Allison like cheated and got magic through like using this like spell book that she had no right to. And so she's kind of like mad about that. Um, but it's mostly the she wants
mostly
to
the
be,
eugenics.
yeah, yeah, you know.
Mostly because she believes that the strong should dominate the weak, and that the weak should be left to fend for themselves. That's
Hmm.
mostly Paula's thing. She's awful.
She's
Yeah, she
terrible, yeah.
sucks. Um,
I didn't see
you
that one
kind,
coming from this game.
yeah. I mean, you turned the politics all the way up, so you should have seen that coming.
That's
That's
true.
true.
Uh,
It's really
maybe
good
she
Paula
wouldn't have been a
heroic.
eugenicist if that was like halfway. You know,
That's true.
who knows?
Maybe
Who can say?
maybe she wouldn't have been like Darwin wants this child to die. Yeah, Paula's one antagonist. You've got Javis, and then you go up to this floating island. You hike on a trail. You get warped to a floating island. You get Jody, who's your fourth party member. Meet these zombies. Did y'all spend a lot of time speaking to any of the NPCs? Like, how'd you
Oh
find
yeah,
the overall writing?
I
writing
like the
good.
zombies. The zombie like area opens with a good bit.
Oh, which one?
Where they're like having shootouts every day, but they're
Yeah,
zombies, so they can't die. So it's just like a fun little game they play.
they're just shooting blanks at each other, uh, and they're just doing it for fun. They're like cowboy zombies. We should mention. I don't know if we said that already or not.
Oh yeah, they're
We did
cowboy
that.
zombies because none of them have memories of what their lives were like before they became zombies. So,
Mm,
and they're in like a desert sort of environment. So most of them became cowboys, except for
yeah.
one person who's a mummy.
Hmm. I like the bit where as you're fighting enemies, sometimes you will fight this like zombie girl in a hoodie. I don't know if girl is the right pronoun for the character. Um, and you're like, wow, there sure are a lot of these zombies. And then you get to the town and Neff, who is the mummy, is like, yeah, that was me every single time. I was I was just why do you think there are like 100 zombies that look like this? They're like, I don't know, maybe had like a strict dress code or something. Couldn't say. I was like, all right, that's a fun bit. And I don't think Neff fights you again after that.
No, I did
So,
enjoy stealing Neff's mummy knife over and over and
right.
over again.
Mm-hmm.
Which you cannot use as a weapon. It says it's probably cursed, and it's just
Yep.
loot trash.
Yeah,
I'll
just sell it.
I'll say my favorite bit just while we're
Okay.
running through bits too. I forget when it happens, so I'm gonna say it now. There's a part later on in the game, it's very small, where an NPC is building a sculpture of your main antagonist,
Mm-hmm.
and there's just like a big block of granite in front of this NPC, and you can go up and speak to the NPC, and they're like, "Hey, I'm building a sculpture of the main antagonist," and you just answer, "Wow, she must have been really square." And they just go, "Dick, I haven't started yet."
I don't even know where this happens.
I don't remember. It might be in like the final hideout, but I was like, that's
It's
a
in the
great
enemy fortress. Yeah,
that's
so
a
I
great
love
home
that
pick.
because it's in the enemy fortress. And remember that slime that you fight who has a
Oh
bazooka?
yeah. Uh-huh.
That is the one who sculpted the sculpture.
Is it?
Funny.
I didn't even
He's
notice
like,
that
I
part.
am my liege's strongest soldier. You cannot get to her without going through me first.
I did not find that room. I don't know.
My
I
god
thought I
has freed
explored
me.
everything in this game.
Yeah, yeah, you can. That is fun. I like that bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think if there are any other good bits. I liked you get to a town where you're finding critters all the time, and you can give these critters to a town to like exchange for super weapons and armor for your team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I like that she's like, "Hey, I made an animal sanctuary, but you might have noticed that I don't have any animals.
Yep.
Please go find them."
This is the like collect-a-thon of this game.
Yep.
Did you get all the little items out of there?
I got all the critters. I got all the
Mm-hmm.
items. I
Yep.
think I found all the dragon doors. Like it's kind of a Metroidvania
Yeah.
in that you're getting some navigation items as you go. Jody, your um, knight, your tank character, can cast barriers, and that lets you step over spikes.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to get her, and then you can backtrack. You get the ability to open certain doors that have a special key. Once you get that key, you can backtrack. Um, Once you have that key, you can also get the bloom spell, which causes a
Yes.
bunch of flowers to make bridges all over the game. They give
That
you like
was
4 reasons to backtrack.
yeah. The bloom spell was the one where I was like, where is this thing? Um, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm close to the end. It can't be behind much more gameplay. And then I happened to like be going through like opening the dragon doors, and I got that, and I was like, oh, of course, I should have known it would be in the last place I was gonna look. Uh, and then that unlocks like you can fight all of Javis's boys. Some of them are locked behind the bloom spell. Some of them are just out in the open. I just happened across one that was like in the middle of like uh, I don't remember if that was the woods or the like wasteland, but it was just out there. I was like, I guess I'll fight this guy now. They
Hmm.
weren't terrible. Yeah.
All of them were pretty easy in my
Yeah, they do have
experience.
unique mechanics. Um, some of them do like one of them does weather stuff. One of them does like polarity bullshit. I mean, one of them poisons you, and you have 15 turns to finish the fight. And he's a pain in the ass because he poisons everyone. Um, I don't remember what the other guy
Last
does.
one does time stuff. I found him to be the
Oh, right.
hardest because he's got a status
Really?
effect called fast forward that forces all of your characters to auto attack.
Huh. I did not even. I don't think I even had any trouble with that guy. I don't know
I
how
didn't. He
I
was just the
didn't
most annoying
run
of the
into that.
four.
Yeah, the most annoying to me was Big B, which is the weather guy,
Mhm.
because he summons like ads, and that's what
Ah,
killed me the one time.
yeah, and the ads do
Um,
AoEs. I killed
yes,
him fast enough that he only added one ad.
yeah. I came back after I had gotten like the rest of the critter chests and a bunch of like side quest stuff. Um, and I didn't have much trouble with him the second time around.
Yeah, I
So
fought
yeah.
him last, so I think I was just a little bit more leveled, probably.
Mm-hmm. And it
There's a
only
level
goes
cap.
to level 30. Yes.
Yeah, level 30 is the cap, and so it's pretty easy to hit that cap, even if you don't do
Mm-hmm.
that much side content. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think if there. So like plot wise, you get sent on a bunch of like quests stuff. You know, you're dealing with these glitch machines.
Mhm.
Your town gets glitched over, and you have to help there. That's kind of a fun level because you see a glitch version of the town, and it
Yeah.
looks, like a Super Nintendo's having a problem rendering something. And that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Did Oh, I forgot this bit. Did either of you see the tennis balls in the head of the paladin's room?
Oh, yes. The head of the Paladin Guild is like a unicorn, Faith, and she is Jody's partner. And she's like, you find these like tennis balls, and you're like, why do you have a thing of tennis balls? She's like, because when Jody and I sleep together, the horn like keeps jabbing her, and I put the tennis ball on the end of it so it doesn't like poke when I
Just
roll
That's
around
funny.
at
downright.
night.
Yep.
Yeah. There's some funny stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, overall, the plot line is not terribly like uh complex. Javis is working for a evil queen, who he summons using the power of the like big tower that the Paladins Guild is in. And she's going to glitchify the world. Um,
And steal magic. She's going to take the magic
yeah,
away because, wouldn't you know
yes.
it, the goddess of magic that granted magic to this world cannot be trusted. There's
Hmm.
the religion, it was worshiping a false god.
Whoa, that's
Yeah, right?
crazy.
That's crazy. That never happens.
Um, but then you go on a little quest to visit a dragon who lives in a cave at the top of a mountain, and she reveals that she knows this character. She knows the goddess of magic from 1,000 years ago, and she's going to teach you how to beat her, basically. And that's where you get the quest to like go off and do like your end game stuff. Um, yeah, and
Yeah. And
then you go up a mountain, and it's called Mount Sappho because, of course, it is. Uh, and even I groaned at that.
you grown at the uncanny valley?
The Uncanny Valley I thought was funny. I don't think any of the other places had any
Could
names
you
like that.
unpack Mount Sappho for anyone who
So if you
doesn't get the reference?
aren't a lesbian, Sappho was
Just cover
a
your ears now. Don't even listen.
yes. You can skip this episode entirely if you aren't a lesbian, honestly. Um, Sappho was a ancient Greek poet who wrote songs about uh being in love with women. And pretty sure I, if you know the sweet mother I cannot weave, for I am something something in love with a woman, that's her. I don't know if I just know that because I know gay things, but yeah. um I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, that's where we get the word sapphic from, for women who love women. It's because of Sappho.
Yeah. So you go to
That's
Mount
the whole thing.
Sappho, climb up it. It's got some glitch stuff.
Mm,
And we find out at the top that the evil goddess, she's not so evil. She's mostly mad because she taught everyone about magic, and then a god, like there are other gods that also have magic, and they
mm,
were not happy that she shared magic. She's basically, and who is,
Prometheus.
yeah, basically Prometheus. So
mm,
she's got other gods mad at her because she
mm.
shared the light of magic with, well, they're not humans, they're with animal people. Um,
The
and
Harrys.
Harry's, and the Scalies, I guess, because there's
Mm,
Yeah,
also
there's a
a
dragon.
dragon,
Yeah.
and there's
yeah.
bird people. Also, you fight bird people and you just kill them.
Oh yeah, the king of garbage? Is that his
Yeah,
name?
well, that is an actual just a bird who got
Oh,
into a
that's not
bunch
a
of
bird
trash.
person. Okay.
That's the
I
trash
assume it's
king.
a person, I guess.
Yeah. You you have a conversation that's like, You guys thought that was a beast folk? That was just like a bird who got stuck in some like bags and shit,
You
which
do
I
fight
thought was
harpies,
funny.
and
You
those
do fight
harpies are
harpies
people.
all the time. Yeah, you fight harpies all the time, and I guess you kill them because I
Sure
guess they're
do.
different somehow.
They stop moving.
Yeah, I mean they disappear from the combat screen. We don't know what happens after that.
They sure do.
Um, yep.
We're
But
not
there are
going to attack
bird
that.
people. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's like some bards that you get out of ice at the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, and they're birds, and then they come back later because they said they always pay their debts, and they get you out of prison. And yeah, there's
We find out the god at the end is married to the dragon, and
yes,
he thought that the dragon was dead, and the dragon was thought that the god was mad at her, and then
hmm
they make up because they're lesbians
yep,
too.
Yep.
because they're wives.
Yep, because they're wives.
hmm
And then everything gets resolved with Javis being punted into oblivion
Oh
because
no,
he's
wait.
a jerk.
First we gotta beat him because he gets
Oh yeah.
pissed because he's like, I gave everything to you, and now you're saying we're calling it off, and he becomes God King Javis or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
because the magic goddess just like walks away for 5 minutes.
Yep.
yeah, yep. Um, and then you have to Melody and Allison do the ritual that gave them their magic and do it again, so they get super magic. And that's where I guess the Super Lesbian Animal RPG comes from.
Yeah, they get
Um,
souped up, and then
yep,
you get even better abilities for both of them.
yeah.
Um, that fight's
Which I don't.
really low stakes.
Yeah, I don't think you really even need that. Because like Melody's healing was healing everyone basically to full already, and then you get souped up, and then it's doing that but more.
And there's like an
So
ability that heals everyone to full HP, MP, removes all status effects, and revives anyone to
and
full health
revives
if they were
people.
dead.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. It's the super ending moment, so I don't think it was terribly complex. Like it has a weak point that's moving around. Did you use Allison's like left punch, right punch,
No,
high
not once.
kick, low kick? No.
Not once. I don't know why. Like, I'm sure some of them were crits on certain
hmm
enemies, high punches or low punches or whatever. But I was killing things in like 2 hits, ignoring that. So it seemed like a waste of time.
I mean, I thought it was kind of interesting to like, because there are some enemies that are like maybe they look really top heavy, and so you kick them low, and then they're weak to that. But I don't think you needed to mess with that. And that final boss is like an eye thing that's moving around, and you just hit him on the side that has the eye, and he takes some bonus damage. But ultimately, something that you didn't have to interact with at all.
Yeah, by that point in the game, Allison was dual wielding,
hmm
and I was having her do 2 physical attacks every turn cycle, and then she
Yep.
would also be all hopped up on kisses and, attack damage up and defense down on the
All
enemies,
hopped up
so
on kisses.
yeah, she's a rabbit.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Get it?
Got him. Got him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's an epilogue after you defeat Javis.
hmm
Yeah, the
You
epilogue was sweet.
restore Yeah,
Yeah, it's cute. Like,
walk around, you talk to
walk
everyone.
around, see all the people who you've interacted with. Um, get to be like, I can't tell you anything about what happens at the mountain. Um, and then you go back home and you cuddle,
Yeah, you get some cuddles.
because yeah, 'cause that's
I will
the end
say, so
goal.
one thing we kind of glossed over, Melody and Allison do have like a fight in the middle of the
hmm
game where Melody has like a self-doubt demon
Yeah.
kinda that like says, "Hey, Allison's only into Allison's taking care of you because she has pity on you. She doesn't really love you. She's just, pitying you, and it's supposed to be like all of her dark inner thoughts. And it eventually comes to a head with Melody. Allison saying, "Hey, Melody, we shouldn't fight this evil god. I don't think we'll be able to win, and I don't want you to get hurt." And Melody's like, "Why don't you believe in me? Like, why are you treating me like I'm not capable? I've been, healing the party this whole time. Why aren't you believing in me?" They have a fight, and then they lose the ability to kiss for a little while because they're fighting.
Yep.
And they eventually work it out with Allison realizing that Melody is her own person who can have her own wants and needs and isn't just simply doing things to accommodate Allison's wants and needs. And then Melody stops being so self-conscious and self-doubting, I guess. Like she assumes that Allison wouldn't care for her unless she's useful.
Yeah.
And these are all important relationship issues to work out. I appreciate the interpersonal relations of it all. But I don't know, it just seemed like something you saved to me after you save the world. Like maybe we put our stuff aside just for a moment, save the world, and then we circle back to our discussion here.
Especially because
But
the kisses give a 15% bonus to all stats. And this not kissing thing is really screwing up my cycle of healing and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
I say, well, you see, the saving the world is the issue that is stopping them from, you know, so they can't resolve it because saving the world is the problem. They don't want to get hurt doing that.
Mm,
So that's where the
okay.
conflict comes in.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm
I
sorry about your your stat buffs not being good enough.
it was really messed up. Like I had an optimized routine, and it was
Mhm.
their not smooching really screwed it up.
Yeah.
How about when
That's
you have to go
consequences in
off?
storytelling.
Yeah, how about when like you have to go and split up into two groups and it's like Melody and Claire on one side and then Allison and Jody go on the other and Claire and Claire and Melody seem to be fine because Melody's the healer. And then on the other side, Allison and Jody are just like getting the shit beat out of them the whole time.
Yeah, I do
That
also. That is fun. I like that gameplay moment. Like you, that was
Mhm.
the only time I really used items was because they took my healer away.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
did both of you unlock the ability for Claire and Jody to get kissed?
Yes.
No, I didn't even know that was around.
So for Jody, you get an amulet from Faith where she just like teleports to you and just gives Jody a kiss. And then for Claire, Claire works at the local diner, Higgledy Piggledy's,
Yes.
um, and she works with Beverly, who is a pig woman. And at some point, you can like go on a date,
Yeah, you
and
get a side quest to work a shift at the Higgledy
yeah,
Piggledy, and at the end
yes,
you can ask Beverly, the big woman, pig woman, out
hmm
on a date.
Big woman, pig
The
woman.
big woman, big woman.
Yeah, they have like a cute little scene. And then after all of the events, they're like, we're gonna go on an actual date now that the world is not in danger. Uh, it's cute.
And Claire
Um,
also has a moment of like, as a trans girl, I felt like I
mm,
was screwing up all of my childhood, and then I feel like I basically got dropped into the world at 18, now being
mhm,
myself, not having been myself, or like being closeted for most of my life. And she's got kind of a
mhm.
monologue or two about that.
Hmm.
Many
It's
such
cool.
cases.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, I think as far as those things go, I think they did a really good job at like kind of touching all those like aspects. Like a lot of the character moments are what really I think stood out to me. Considering like the RPG stuff was kind of like lower level, you know, on the complexity side.
Hmm.
Uh, But I liked all the characters. I liked all the moments that they had. I like seeing their relationships like develop and change. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Though Jody, I feel like gets the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Uh, Other than one conversation with Allison about why they broke up, because Allison and Jody were once dating, I don't feel
Mhm.
like we really get a lot of interiority of what Jody's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I?
Jody is kind of the like rock of the party. She's kind of like I think she's a little older than everyone else in the
That's what I was
party.
gonna say. Like her and
Yeah.
Allison are an older couple. They've been together for a lot
Yes.
longer. It seems like.
Yeah.
Faith.
Faith. Yes.
Oh,
Faith is
excuse
like an adult. Jody is also like kind of like the babysitter of the party, which is why she kind of is like she's already worked all of her shit out. Um, doesn't have to, do all this nonsense. Not like Melody and Allison. Um, she's just there to make sure no one gets hurt.
me. A bunch of boring paladins, man.
Oh, it's cute. It's fine. I mean, would you prefer a cleric? Like,
I don't know, some like rogues or some berserkers or something. You know,
maybe in the sequel. There is a
that'd be
setup
cool.
for a sequel in this, because um, the goddess of magic is like, I'm here to kill the gods. And it seems like they're setting up like, all right, are we gonna go and do that? Like, are we gonna go on a big quest to kill all the gods so we can avenge Verena? Like, I thought that was what we were setting up for, and then she kind of is like, you know what? I just want to hang out with my dragon wife. Which, good for her. I mean, they
Yeah,
thought they were dead,
yeah, they're
so
separated for 1,000 years.
yeah, I don't blame it. But the hook is still there. There could be a Super Lesbian Animal RPG too, where
Certainly
we
could.
kill all the gods.
What a great Super Lesbian Animal RPG 2 : kill all the gods.
Yeah,
Kill all monsters.
that's just
Yeah.
the transgender agenda. Is
Oh, finally,
Killing all
finally, I
gods.
learned what that is.
Speaking of, this is the third. Speaking of the transgender agenda to kill all gods, this is the third RPG, super lesbian RPG, I would say, that we played.
true.
In the car loser, boss. Oh man,
Boss,
it's not
boss,
boss
not
game.
boss fight, boss
Boss
game.
game. The final boss is my heart,
I guess too
and
that bondage one, would that count as an RPG?
no,
Uh,
that was a visual
kind of
novel.
a visual
Okay,
novel. Yeah.
okay, okay.
Um, I would say of the three, I, I would say probably check out Get in the Car Loser or Boss Game first. Like as an RPG,
Uh,
I think those both have more RPG stuff going on.
yeah. I mean, boss game is like kind of a good take on like a RPG fight. You will still get the kiss your girlfriend mechanics in that one. Getting the car loser is just like wild. You should
Yes.
you should play that one first, I think. Then check out boss game. But if you are interested in the RPG stuff, play this one before boss game so that you have a like ramp up into the RPG style, like really interesting fights.
If you are an
Um,
if you are familiar with RPGs, maybe start with Get in the Car Loser or Boss Game. If you
mhm,
are coming to this with the lesbianism, but maybe not the RPG,
yeah,
uh, maybe start with Super Lesbian Animal RPG.
yeah. This is your
Get you up to
entry
speed.
level.
Yes.
You're gonna start at Super Lesbian Animal RPG. Then you're gonna go to boss game, and then you're gonna get in the car loser.
Yes.
Uh,
You will
you're
start
gonna
with
get
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, that is Super
yes,
Lesbian RPG. Then you will play the Undertale, which is Boss Game. Then you'll finish with Final Fantasy 13, which is Get in the Car Loser.
yeah. All right, and As promised, I will probably not pick another incredibly gay game for a while.
We'll do a rare one for the straights next.
Yeah.
Joke's on
We
you.
might-
I'm gonna pick a super gay game.
Mhm.
That's not true. Necessarily. I might. I don't know. It's my turn to pick, though. So I was okay. You, the listener, can't afflict us with Duke Nukem Forever. That is something that's out of my control.
Mhm.
But in my control, I have 3 games that I've set aside.
Oh
Okay.
dear.
Okay.
All right, lay it on us.
Okay. One is a shooter, one is an RPG, and one I do not know what style of game it is. It is on the short list.
Ooh, I'm
You
intrigued.
wait. You don't know what style of game it is?
Not really sure.
What do
Okay.
you don't have to tell me the answer, but like what do you know about it? Like the title, the synopsis? Like
Give us a taste of each one and finish with the mystery one.
Okay, so the first one's a shooter-ass shooter where you shoot
Okay.
stuff and don't
shooting
think so
asses.
much.
I'm already intrigued.
Which,
All right.
if say for example, someone afflicted us with Duke Nukem Forever and we needed to play a good shooter, we would do that.
Okay.
I think a good shooter is a oxymoron, but go ahead.
Okay. The second option is French.
Oh.
Say no more.
Yep. Second option, very French.
Okay.
And the third option
Mhm.
appears to be
Appears to be.
horny in a survival horror game.
A horny
Horny survival
I
horror
mean,
game.
like Silent Hill 2, pretty horny.
I mean, I think there is a very close relationship between horror and horny, and not just because the words are very close together.
No. Goes all the way back
Uh,
to Dracula.
Are we?
Do you want
I
me to
mean,
give you the names of the games, or do you
No,
want me to
Yeah.
try
I
and
don't.
guess what this is?
All right. I'm not going to try and guess, but I do want you to say what each one of these are once we decide.
Okay.
Pete, do you have a preference?
I would move away from the RPG just because we just did an RPG. So I would go shooter
Fair.
or mystery game. And M, it sounds like you don't want a shooter.
I mean, it depends on the shooter. Gino
Hey,
is saying it's a
we
good
don't know.
shooter.
Yeah.
It was highly regarded. It was critically acclaimed.
Oh,
It came out.
interesting.
It was a critically acclaimed shooter, but it's dumb.
All right, well, I cut us to
But-
2. So M, you got to pick our last one.
Can you say anything else about the French game?
We already
French game,
eliminated the French
it's an
game.
RPG. I've heard it described as Final French to see.
Ah, yes.
I'm
This
even
is
less
the
interested.
game that this is the game that I was thinking of. I do want to play this one at some point, but I don't know if it
You can wait
next
till it
time
goes
is the
down in
right
price.
time.
Also,
Yeah, that's the other thing.
What are
The
we talking
full-price
right now?
game.
it's a full-priced game.
Oh,
So,
Yeah.
straight to hell.
All right.
okay, so you want to pick the shooter straight to hell? Okay,
All right,
the
enough
options are.
hemming and
I will
hawing.
now lay them
Give us the
clean.
names.
They were Claire Obscure, the French game.
Yes.
They
Mhm.
were Doom,
Doom.
shooter.
like
The original
OG,
Doom.
OG Doom.
So I wasn't sure if we wanted to do Doom, the
I
first
mean,
Doom,
we already
the
did.
90s
We already
Doom,
did Chex Quest. Like, why bother?
True.
or I was thinking the 2016 Doom
The
is-
remake.
remake.
Which one
is-
stars The Rock?
That's the
That's
movie.
the movie.
Oh,
But
okay.
I
Got it,
suppose
got
you, with your imagination, can make it so that any Doom game stars The Rock.
Mm. And then what was the third one?
The third one is Sorry We're Closed.
Oh. Yeah, I could see why you didn't know how to describe this one.
Yeah,
Ah.
I don't know how to describe this one. Looking at it it looks weird.
You know,
It's
Brayden has told me that I would really enjoy Sorry We're Closed.
Doom?
Yes. Um,
It looks
damn,
like
this
it's
is
maybe a shooter and a horror game, and it looks like a
Horny.
PS1 game, kinda.
yeah. Let's do Sorry We're Closed. Actually, yeah, let's do Sorry We're Closed. I don't think I have to play Doom.
Okay, works for me.
Cool.
Okay,
Yay, we did it.
so we are either playing Sorry We're Closed or Duke Nukem Forever.
Ah, yes.
If you wanted to do that to us, patreon.com/deep listens. We only need 2 more new subs or 1 OG Soncast sub, a net new, or 2 upgrades to OG Soncast to make that happen. Um, we will sound the alarm if that was to come to pass. Next episode is our 10-year anniversary podcast as well. So tune in for that. And thanks for all your support throughout the years. We will be sure to mention it during the next show. If you want to get in touch with the show, deeplistens.libsyn.com. We have our comment sections, and deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. If you have any emails for the 10-year anniversary show, please get them in. Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, this game was pretty fun to play and really fun to talk about. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Em.
Thank you. I'm looking at the Sorry We're Closed trailer, and it looks like I picked another one for us, even though I
I know.
just said I wasn't gonna.
I know. I laid a trap for you, and you fell right into it.
Thank goodness
Well,
we have Duke Nukem on the horizon.
Yeah, Gino picked it, so it doesn't count as one of mine.
I know, but it looks like it's up my alley. A weird PlayStation-looking survival horror game. Hell yeah. Well, thank you, dear listeners. Till next time. Peace.